Ooh, okay. Right. I want to hop straight into this draft. Of course, we can see all of these picks right up Lucky. But let's look at the bands first. Let's have a little gander towards the bottom of your screen. Lucky, what are you seeing?
So I'm seeing a lot of, from knowing some of the players on these teams, contested picks or like picks that you would suggest. Like for instance, on the side of Miami Vice, I mean, we do see the Zyra MF, which MF is, I believe, one of Husky's most played ADCs, right? And from me being an ADC myself, normally I do enjoy the MF into Jinx matchup, so it makes sense. Um, but then again, you know, the fact that you're given over a champion like Jinx is very interesting. And then for the side of Rivals, for instance, right, we did see the Hui, which I know is one of Renegade's most played champs. You know, probably good on them that they banned it. I do see a top laner, which if I had the OP.GG's up right now, which yeah, I guess it's on me. What's the Nara looking like for the side of Rivals top laner?
Ooh, now, I would like to say, I think the Renata pick, personally, is one of the best picks into this team comp, especially when you're running Jinx, Xin Zhao, comps like that. They're going to actually be able to turn on to each other quite strongly. But for the side of Rivals, the Nautilus pick isn't too bad, right? But personally, I think that consistent engage does help, right? But pairing a Lulu, especially as they do play it on the side of Rivals with that Jinx and Xin Zhao, is one of the strongest picks you can get. Yes, you will lose some of that aggress damage and some of that aggress capabilities. But if you look onto the side of Miami Vice, apart from Ziggs, everyone else is just trying to go first and get onto you, right?
Yep. No, 100%. Now, like you were saying, the Renata is a good pick because, right, the side of Rivals, you cannot all want to group into one specific choke point, right? Or you would think so, you know, it is IBSG. So, a lot of these fights do appear in choke points over, you know, per se, let's say the river, right? So that Renata ult is very good. Now, honestly, in terms of, like, actual drafts, right? What do you see happening this game, like winning wise?
So, if we are looking at winning wise, or if we're looking at lane potential, I think that Echo is going to quite struggle into Galio mid lane. That's typically going to go, especially early game, more towards the side of Galio. So you're going to have a stronger mid lane presence, which may able Sejuani to move around a little bit more. So maybe the objective pressure is going to be to the side more of Miami Vice. But I think Rivals have such a strong contesting comp that maybe, yes, without your Ornn being 6 or even being able to TP down, that's still contention is going to be absolutely vital.
Mm-hmm. No, I 100% agree. Yeah, no, it looks like a very standard for the side of Rivals, a very front to back team fight. And then Miami Vice, I could see it kind of being the same. But the thing is like I don't know if I really like the Ziggs here, right? I mean, yeah, it is a counter to Jinx. It does do very well in the Jinx. I would have probably drafted at least one more like hard tank, right? Because if Ziggs gets dove on and Yone isn't able to do damage, you know, where's the damage coming from, right? I know Galio does pretty okay damage, but like not enough to be considered an actual DPS, right? He's more like a kind of like a pseudo tank, I believe, give or take. So I would have preferred probably something else other than the Jinx. I mean, other than the Ziggs. Now maybe like I could see an Ashe working very well here. I know Astronaut is a pretty strong lane, and then the Jinx, it is one of her counters, or even like a Twitch, right? Because you can reposition with Twitch it very easily. So, I mean, I guess we'll just have to see what ends up happening in these games.
I am going to quickly interject from you. Now, I think when it comes to scaling, both these teams are very strong. I mean, when Jinx gets excited, that's something to be wary of. That's something to be a little bit careful of. But then we look over to the side of Miami Vice, where you've got that aspect of, yes, Ziggs is a very hard scaler. Galio is equally a very hard scaler, dependent on build, right? But you need to remember, Ziggs is very immobile. This is a character
Mhm.
that relies on being peels. This is a character that does not want to realistically go anywhere near to the enemy team comp. So Rivals is going to have a very easy picking if they're actually able to engage properly onto Ziggs.
Yeah, no, for sure. And only Ziggs has is a satchel to pretty much get him out of trouble. So I don't really see people in this elo using it effectively, right? Because even like Plat, for instance, you see very few people that are able to actually use it effectively. So
Yep, I can most definitely agree. This is going to be a very most difficult comp to play properly, have that macro idea out. Now, towards the side of who you think is winning, who you think is going to win these early team fights, I think that's going to go towards the side of Rivals, but Rivals is a very scary comp. If they fall far behind, it's going to be very difficult for them to actually, put their heels into the ground and carry on this game. Momentum's quite important for them. So, when it comes to generalized, I think maybe we're going to see less of a skirmish early on, and we're going to see bigger fights later on.
yeah, I mean that sounds pretty valid considering the comps that these two teams kind of drafted, right? Because from looking at it, like you stated earlier, you have a Ziggs that scales, you have a Jinx that scales, you have a Galio that scales, even Echo at some point, given the right circumstances and like is able to get on these squishies. I mean, sadly, from personal experience, we'll just 0 to 100 them with these. So I could see this game being very, I want to say very slow and calculated, but like I always stated, is IBSG. So
Yeah, I mean, that is something that comes up quite a lot, right? It is IBSG. This is where a lot of aggress is going to happen. A lot of, dirty fighting, those underdog situations. Just because you pick a comp that generally is strong doesn't mean you can execute it properly, right?
yeah, for sure, I completely agree.
Now, so I would like to play a little game with you, right?
Okay.
I don't want to take any bias in this, but based off comps, who do you think is going to have the stronger early game, the stronger mid game, and then the most important, I especially think for these scaling comps, the stronger late game?
Okay, so stronger early game. I do want to give it over to Miami Vice because if this Jinx doesn't really play to the side of Wave, right, it's harder for her to get poked out by Ziggs. So if she's able just to free scale, Rivals will have a better mid, and then late game, honestly, I'm gonna have to say Rivals.
A little bit
So,
of a coin flip for you,
yeah.
eh?
What are you leaning towards?
I'm not too entirely sure. I think Rivals' team comp is strong individually. You've got these picks that do scale quite well. I would have made individual changes to their team comp personally. Swap that Nautilus out for something like a Lulu. I think, as I said earlier, Lulu fits especially strong into Jinx and Xin Zhao. Maybe
Yeah.
swap out Echo for something like a Syndra. And then I think you've got an especially strong comp which can scale quite well, but equally has that capability to go for that counter engage. Miami Vice is not really gonna go first. They're gonna get their resources poked out. They're gonna have a harder time closing that distance. So I think I might have to go for the side of Rivals.
For all 3 stages of the game?
That is a question. All 3 stages of the game. Now, late game, I think it's going to be an absolute knife's edge, right? It can teeter any way in dependency, right? So Miami Vice does have that capability to be able to close the distance. You've got Yone R, you've got Sejuani ult, you've got Renata R as well. All of these capabilities that I just said to be able to close that distance for Miami Vice are quite ultimate dependent. So off cooldown, I think they're going to be a little bit of a weaker team compared to Rivals. With that Nautilus, they have that consistent engage. They have that capability to, just stand tall, stand feast, or whatever it's called. I'm not too sure with Xin Zhao. I think it just gives them stronger capabilities and the fact that they're able to just stay in this fight for longer.
Yeah, that's completely valid. That is 100. I 100% agree with that. So if you want to start getting into these games, these fun games, this fun gameplay we're about to see, I'm actually really excited because Miami Vice has been a team that I wanted to see for a while. Because I'm not going off the bias, right? But I know quite a few players on this team, but I also do know a couple players on Rivals. So I'm just excited for this game in general. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah. Being excited is most definitely something we can see here. You know, you have these strong comps. I'm quite excited to see it, as it's going to be a coin flip. Will that Jinx be able to get ahead, or will that Yone be able to close the distance? That is something we are going to be seeing as we hopefully go into the game somewhat soon. But we will see how it goes. I mean, we made our predictions. They only are going to last for so long. They may silence us on our words, Lucky, but that's a question for when we go into the game. We
Alrighty.
are into the game, Mr. Lucky. As we have just gone into draft, now we're into the game. All on Summoner's Rift. I would like to see what they are going for here, Lucky. But as we let the hounds loose, violence in IBSG is most definitely certain to come around.
So we do see both teams just kind of setting up for a standard 5-point, which is kind of given. There's nothing to really come out here. Theoretically, you could look for an invade with the Nautilus, but then again, normally at the start of like game one, a lot of teams kind of fill each other out.
Thinning out, most definitely. Just a little bit of a 5-man position here. Just trying to mark each other, see what's going on. Nothing too committal yet. We could have done that invade with the Nautilus. I'd most definitely think Rivals do have a stronger early game, as they do have that Nautilus. But to each their own. A little bit of trash talking in the chat. Nothing goes a far way without a little bit of smack talk.
Oh, so it's a Yone. Okay. I don't know why I didn't
Yone top?
recognize this in draft. Yeah, I didn't recognize this in draft. I don't know. I guess it just slipped my mind. But that's interesting. As far as I know, that's a pretty good matchup in Doran, right?
Yeah, I will say I feel like the Ornn is going to struggle because the Noto has taken lethal tempo into this matchup, right? So that Ornn is going to walk up. He's going to have all of his HP chunked unless he is able to play it a little bit better. As we can see, a little bit of just HP chunking going on to the side of Yone. But, to each their own avail. It's not how the matchup is completely going to go. Just the early game.
Yep, we do see some early poke damage on the early night. I don't think anything comes out of it. So there is something interesting I want to bring up, right? Is both jungles are pathing opposite of each other. Which is weird because, you would think with a Jinx, right? You want to try to get her accelerated as quick as you can. We have fight
as quick as you can, for sure. I don't think too much is going to come out of that play there, but we do maybe have a first blood here from mid lane. Razzle's going to be able to pick up that first blood. Nice and easy. This is typically something we see. Turning the table here, though. Echo does normally struggle into Galio here, but maybe I'm just wrong with this calculation. I would like to see a little bit of a strong side bot. As you said, both junglers pathing different ways. I would like to see this Jinx get a little bit more help, though.
Yeah, it'd be very nice. So, I do say that. But yeah, no, it just looks like Zin's clear. It's just much more faster and makes sense.
Yeah, it does make sense for Xin to be going topside. Maybe he wants to be able to help this Ornn. I mean, he's not currently going topside, but I thought he would be. This Ornn does potentially need a little bit of help if he is not weak siding. As I said, this map kind of needs to be split in half here. E from Galio to no avail is going to be pushed away. Ends up not being able to close the distance. Nicky's with the flash, though. Galio is going to be picked up, and that is 2 to Razzles.
That was very good on the side of... It's hard to see the names. Rivals? No, not Rivals. Yeah, no, it is Rivals. It's really difficult to see names. trying to set this Galio behind even further is very good. It does help that you are ganking. Because if this Galio falls behind, it's very hard for them to get super tanky.
Ooh, here we do go. Xin Zhao on the gank again. Hook is going to go miss from the side of... it's really hard to see names, actually. I'm going to have to get really close to my monitor here. I think that... Source, surprisingly, but Hook does miss from the side of Source. A nice and easily escape for the side of Miami Vice. Bot lane is going to come back with a stronger itemization, so that laning phase is going to be a little bit more easy for the side of Miami Vice, especially with poking that Jinx out. But we will see what's going on.
I'm just bringing up a notepad real quick so I can keep track of which teams are on which side. Okay, there we go. Alright. So we don't see much going on right now. I mean, yeah, there's an early aggression, early kills, but first objective is looking like the dragon. In terms of items, right? I mean, if you look at Ziggs and Jinx, they're kind of like, in a sense, even on items, if you think about it. So, I mean, we'll just have to see what this dragon ends up coming to. Thing is, right, is Xin doesn't really have flash. But I don't think it really matters.
Xin did give away his flash for a little bit of an aggress onto the side of Miami Vice. Was trying to see if they could get his Jinx a little bit further ahead. You know, typically in that laning phase, Jinx is going to be under the pressure of Ziggs quite a lot with all of that poke damage coming up. Nautilus, I would like to say, maybe see a little bit more roaming from the side of Miami Vice's Source. That would be quite nice. You know, Jinx is going to be under a lot of pressure here. But going in, just a little bit of poke damage from the side. But an aggress is going to come out. Sejuani having to flash away. Razzles maybe being able to pick up that pick onto Sejuani. Going to be able to get it for the side of... I've forgotten their name, apologies. I might have to do the same as you. It's going to be Rivals. But trying to go for that damage... Going to be unsuccessful for Jinx here, especially with all of that poke damage coming out from Ziggs. Definitely a difficult lane, Lucky. I would like to see maybe that Nautilus go up for the roam, but as we can see on the minimap, Xin Zhao is in bot lane. Hook has come out from Source, trying to go for that gank, but to no avail, as I said earlier. Really trying to get their Jinx ahead in this game here.
Yep. So we do see the jungle. We see both jungles down bot lane. It does look like Xin is taking a reset, which they are giving drag prio over to Miami Vice. We'll just have to see if they want to attempt to take this first drag or take a reset here after pushing the wave. Now, personally, it is a Cloud Drake, which honestly is, in my opinion, probably not the best first Drake. It does okay, but it's not like any meaningful value, right? I can see it being good, but I know me personally, I don't think the Cloud Drake is worth it for first Drake. But it does help with the feats.
Yeah, it's not the best soul, I would say. Back in the day when Ocean Soul was an absolute beast, that was most definitely my favorite one. But, you know, with these objectives, you are able to give them up. First two Drakes aren't typically super important, but we will see how they are trying to play it. Yone just going for that ultimate. Is going to be able to hit it, but I don't think that's enough damage to be able to take out Ornn.
That was that was the Wi-Fi ult right there.
It was the 200 MS like attempt.
So we do see them posturing around these grubs. If you could click or push, I believe it's in. Are you not able to see objective timers in this? Yes, okay.
There we go. Up on the screen. Ultimate has come out from Sejuani to try slow Xin down hip. Calling the Forge. Not really a use step when there is no follow-up, but Rivals is slowly and surely going to start to take more space here. Trying to play for all of these grubs. A couple still up. Miami Vice on the counter here, but to no avail.
So it does look like they are given that grub prio. Now, we'll just have to see if they decide they want to either fight this or trade grubs, and it looks like they're
I would say some fighting this is most definitely something you want to do with the fact that old Galley ultimate has come out. Is going to be able to knock up one. Nautilus goes in with a hook to no avail though. Renata, low HP, no 6 yet. Not going to be able to get that. W has been used, but not able to get the follow-up. Yone still in there, right in the fight. Getting that cube, getting out, playing this quite well, but you got to remember, there's someone who's 4-0 in this fight, and he's going to make it a hell of a lot easier.
Wow. That was a beautiful, beautiful play from the Echo there. It seems like he knows this champion pretty well, damage thresholds and everything. So, very, very, very well on this side. Now, the thing is they're not going to attempt to get the grubs.
Ooh. Well, only if he had enough mana for his ultimate there from the side of Trey. But, you know, I'm a little bit surprised there's not as much importance going around Grub's hip. You know, typically you do have that Jinx, so Nautilus may want to go up a little bit more. May want to, as a team, put more importance on it. You know, if she gets excited, that is 1 tower destroyer and a half. But we can look at the side of mid lane. First item for Razors is going to be Lich's Bane. He's just going to be absolutely able to completely destroy Renegade in lane now.
Yeah, it's very unfortunate because we do see that this Galio has been ganked a lot of times. They're not a level down, but they are very much gold down, so this is going to be really rough for Renegades here. As we go later on into the game.
Sorry to cut you off, but
you're
I think
good.
it's most definitely is something to be looking at. Moby White is still level 5, currently almost 10.5 minutes into the game. Maybe should have stayed mid lane for a wave or 2 more. Getting that 6 is going to most definitely make it a little bit easier. Source being level 6 will be able to roam up a little bit more. Calling the Forge is going to come out. Yone, low HP hit, going to be able to dodge with the Eve, but the Cypher just completely showing him why, even though why the matchup doesn't matter, still able to get the kill.
Ornn is just a disgusting champ, man. Because you don't expect Ornn to do that much damage, right, as a tank, but it's just the amount of damage that he puts out, you're like, wait, what?
it's ridiculous. With that W, and then the right click also, you know, with the combination, oh, it's just disgusting damage, especially with a Grass Brock.
We do see the Ziggs and the Renata getting zoned off CS here, which is very good, right? We do see like about a 20 CS, give or take this bit. However, my mind's blanking on the word, but...
You're perfectly fine. It's looking like a counterfeit gank in the bot lane here. I do say counterfeit because money's most definitely on the table. 20 CS around that over Husky here for the side of Trey. Needs to be a little bit more important. So I would like to see maybe a roam from the Echo here, but this might be the first kill for the bot lane. To no avail. Something I would, as I was saying, I would like to see a little bit more roaming here from the side of Rises. He is 5-0 right now, so anywhere with him on the map is going to be the strong side.
That is 100%. And, you know, when Jinx starts getting these kills, she's going to then be able to... Honestly, as long as she plays these team fights correctly, should be able just to clean them up. But it's the thing of, right, is like, the kills that they look for, they just get either so close or it's not really that impactful. I do like how much pressure this Zen is applying on the map, though. It's actually really interesting compared to the Sejuani. But then again, right, I feel like Zen is more of an early game. No, it's Sedge's early game jungle.
Yeah, I mean, we can look at all of the pressure he is putting out on the map, but you actually have to think about what value it's giving you. Pick maybe Flash is going to be used from Decipher, but to no avail. Isn't going to be able to get away, so that's going to be the second kill for Noto. We're looking at a potential dive, but this is one of the things Ziggs is so good at. In draft, maybe pick to make sure that he cannot be dived under this tower, just completely decimating that wave. Although Xin Zhao was invading the side of Soul Muncher, the blue side. Look at the CS gap. Can let them go where they think the camps are and just completely fully take your red side.
Yeah, that is 100% correct. The thing is, right, with Sejuani is, you know, once you hit about 6, right, I mean, this goes for a lot of jungles, your camps don't really matter much, right? I mean, they do, but it's like more of you want to be super impactful in your lanes. And with a champ like Sejuani, yeah, okay, I don't think anything's gonna come out here mid. With a champ like Sejuani, right? Once you hit your, oh wait, nope, I stand corrected.
Just testing his food. Not scared at all. Gonna be using that Galliot to get away. Knows Nautilus is mid. Maybe they will go for a play here. I would like to say they're just standing in the eyes of bravery and they don't care. I would be terrified of that Echo Lucky.
I would be too. But yeah, like I was. Wait.
Gonna be trapped in the bush. I'm gonna interrupt you for a little bit, but to no avail. Echo is honestly not that too far ahead in gold. He is an item up and a half, but Hollow Radiance for the side of Galio gonna make him a lot stronger in lane.
We do see something coming out mid.
TP has come out. This is going to turn into a fight and a half. I thought you would just get out, but Ultimate has come out from the side of Renata, making sure that this fight does go on for longer. Calling the Forge, going on to Sejuani. This is a play that we would like to see. Sejuani is going to be picked up for the side of Rivals, but Galio goes back in. Torn to no avail, making sure he does try to get one with it, but flash away. And this fight is done and dusted.
This is actually pretty bloody, all things considered. I mean, it is about mid-game, right? So this is expected. We do see that dragon is up. We did see the first dragon go over to the side of Miami Vice, which can be helpful, but then again, you know, it is Cloud Drake. So I am wondering what they're gonna do about the second dragon. Honestly, I would just contest it if I was on the side of Rivals. Because they're so much stronger.
Definitely.
They're so much stronger.
They are stronger. Look at the items difference. Yone does have his first item. It is going to be Bork for the Yone, and the lane swaps are coming out.
So like I was stating earlier... Let me see if it comes in.
Xin Zhao having to flash away. Yone ultimate is going to come out and hit. Just unluckily caught. Wrong place, wrong time there, Lucky. But as you were saying before, you were rudely interrupted by Nicholas being in the wrong place.
Yeah, I want to go back to this Sejuani pick, right? Because even more so, like a champ with Sejuani, like I was stating before, her ult's very, very useful in team fights. That's why I feel like a champ, especially like her... We do see a fight going on, but I don't think it's...
Yeah, looking a little scary here for both teams, but I don't think it's going to amount to a kill here. Just trying to play double objectives, as it did manage to get the Ocean Salt. That is going to be 2 Drakes for them, and potentially a Rift Herald.
Yeah, I'm just gonna say this because they're always trying to action. Sejuani, good champ after 6. There we go. I'll leave it at that.
You got it out eventually. They stopped cutting you off.
Yeah, they did.
But 4 to the side of Miami Vice. It's going to go uncontested. Nautilus did have to check their source, realizing he's out of it, and is going to have to back away.
So for the most part, gold's relatively even between both teams, right? If we could see the gold difference here between the players real quick.
There we go.
Okay. So yeah, I mean...
Relatively even. I'm going to cut you off as something might be happening. Yone is going to get stunned by the Echo W, just constantly held up by the Nautilus, and that is going to be 6 shot, close the blinds, and it's just completely obliterated. Don't need to get my words out. 6-0 Echo, Lucky.
This is a scary, scary Echo. Almost on 2.5 items. Or it's on 2.5 items.
Completely sniped by Renegade. I was saying that is a dangerous game there, Lucky, to be going for that wave. That's another level of greed. Pulling the Forge, just going for this play. Ziggs, one of the most immobile characters in this game draft-wise here. Going to be able to get away, though, like the little bouncy man he is.
I do like how even though, right, you would think, looking score-wise, that Miami Vice is down, they're still managing to rotate and get those objectives on the other side of the map when a lot of Rivals is grouped in one place, which, you know, hey, very good on them. Because, hey, still getting gold. You're not falling too far behind. We do see there are no objectives for a while, so I would like to see these mid towers start to go down, so it opens up the map for either team, which just typical NAA RAM.
Hey, this isn't the LEC anymore, man. That's my domain. This is the NALCS. But as we see, just trying to go for that ARAM mid, trying to open it up, give themselves a little bit more breathability in this game for the side of Miami Vice. They are behind kill-wise, but that doesn't say the whole story. Look at the goal difference. It's exactly the same, Lucky.
This is very interesting. In terms of, like I was stating before, Miami Vice is still able to get stuff even though they're down kills and items, which is honestly, just goes to show how close of a game this really is, despite Echo being 6-0 and it being really scary to deal with.
Yep, a little bit scary for the side of Miami Vice here. 5 in mid isn't the strongest play. Echo just managing to get up with the R. Not enough damage to one-shot this Yone just yet. But a little bit scary. They weren't necessarily split pushing. So, as we can see, waves are going to be pushing out towards the side of rivals here.
We do see this objective for Dragon coming up. It does look like a mountain drake in like a minute. Typically, from my understanding, you want to try to be getting out your vision and everything else at least a minute 30 before, right? Grouping up.
Oh, spot on.
Potentially looking for a death bush. But it does look like they're trying to hard focus his mid. No, okay. I assume they would hard focus his mid turret down, because that would help so much. We do see just a couple of tap spot. 2 tanks. You love to see it.
Yeah, just love tapping, show each other some friendship. Nothing too big gonna come out of this, but rivals are rotating down, so it is gonna look a little scary for Galio here. Cool the Forge says that we are here to eliminate you, Galio. You have just completely overstepped, and the whole gang is here.
This is beautiful macro from the side of Miami Vice. They see 3 bot, they take 2 mid turrets.
2 mid turrets. Gonna make sure that mid prio was a lot safer in the hands of rivals. I mean, Miami Vice, apologies, but Crazy Renato roll has come out here. Gonna be going in, and 2 knocked up. Echo in the midst of it, gonna have the ROA. Sejuani still in that fight. Norsos 1 HP. Ziggs ultimate has come out. Yoni's gonna be able to grab 2 here, knocking them up. The river might be turning red in this fight. Not completely done yet. Yoni on in 1 HP, but is gonna be able to stay alive due to the bulk life steal. And the fight is just so one-sided in that. We did say they are going to be stronger mid-game towards the side of Miami Vice. And we're just completely correct.
Yep, Jinx was able to just free hit there, but, it's really hard for her to outdo the damage because before these fights, right, she's just getting poked out, so Jinx was, like, under half HP, so it's really hard for an ADC with rockets to just stand there and auto if you just can't really step up. Which is something I'd like to see more from the side of rivals is, they create a formation with their team comp, right? Because it's a very standard front to back. So that's what I would personally like to see if I was the side of rivals.
Yeah, I mean, especially into this Renato, as you said, that front to back is most definitely scary, right? You will stand in that line. You're going to be tic-tac-toes for that Renato roll. I mean, Moby White's in C9 for a reason, right?
Yeah, of course. We do see this Otacon looking potentially like the next big team fight that we'll see. We'll just have to see.
Yep. Otacon is going to be topside. Lanes are slowly going to be pushing out. That bot tower is still standing strong for the side of Miami Vice. But we would like to see some little bit of prio. Just supports duking it out, making sure, they're playing that board game of, yeah, you take mine, I'll take yours. Tic-tac-toe.
Honestly, if I was a side of rivals here, I would like to see them group at least 2 or 3 to this mid lane, get this turret, and then make their way top lane for that Otacon.
Bot
The
lane.
Rivals can get this Otacon is actually very, very good for them. Same with Miami, honestly.
See, I'm not too sure about this play bot lane that has just come out from the Cypher. They do have the Unshield TP. So if possible, it is going to be able to go into this fight. Yone is going to be able to hit one, but Renata, to no luck, fight has gone to the side. Heals come out. Echo still in the mist. Is going to be able to get hit by Sejuani, but the Rocket's going to miss. Just stuck in the midst of it. Moby White making sure they're going to be able to clear it. Calling the Forge has hit the Galio. Long drained fight. Not looking the way to the side of Rivals. Is going to be giving over Asakan for free. It's a little bit scary for both teams here.
It is. And it's so unfortunate because this Jinx Jinx is still on one
Jinx.
item. She only has a crit cloak. Crit cloak. So it's gonna be very hard for this Jinx to outdo damage into this Miami Vice team comp because it takes a little bit before your Yintels that get stacked up, and Jinx right is like a 2-3 item carry. I do like that they're looking for the mid here.
Yep, looking for the mid is most definitely something that they could be doing. Flash has come up from Nautilus, trying to save his life. Now, something I would like to see a little bit from Rivals is not just that mid lane. Ornn has not been contested in this bot lane in a singular time. I think they just keep on pushing the waves out and not trying to take the turret.
Yeah, which I mean, it's good in a sense, but the fact that Galio is answering this wave is very good because the simple fact of that he does have that ult as well as that TP to get into fights. So.
Yep, a lot of TPs for both teams here. They are going to be up, all three of them, for the side of Miami Vice in this one. So they are able to get a little bit more aggressive and push these waves out. Drake is going to be in around a minute 20. That is going to be Mountain Drake. So we will start to see a little bit more of an aggressive attempt for wards here from both side of teams. We can look at the bottom side of the map right now. You are able to see nice little ward placements. Renata just trying to clear them out. Make sure that, you know, Rivals are scared to go into their own jungle.
Yep. Something else to keep in mind that this is Soul Point for Miami Vice. So it's a whole thing of if you're Miami Vice, right? Do you just want to give them their first Drake and potentially take this Baron, right? Because that could always be a trade. Honestly, that could be a very interesting trade for Miami Vice.
Noto getting pinged out by his own teammates. I mean, I hate to interrupt you on this, but Noto getting absolutely pinged by his teammates because he TP'd way early. Could have pushed that top wave a little bit more. Same the pressure Galio is putting out onto this. Trying to see what they can do here. Nautilus is going to be chunked out, but Yone is going to hit. Nautilus just absolutely decimated in this fight. Source has got no packet left in him.
Oh, yeah, it was a very, very good catch from the Nautilus, which I don't really care for, right? Because a lot of times as a support, you don't want to be walking alone when you have these major objectives up that get caught out, and therefore, you know, you're a person down. But we do see a little fight happening.
Cool. The Forge is going to be able to hit 2 here. Trying to go for that recontest. Echo just completely one-shot by Trey. Going in. Galio doesn't have a taunt here, so Xin Zhao's just going to be able to get slowed down. No one melee range to be able to get that Sejuani proc off. Trying to keep it going. Keep up that tempo. Flash from Renata Glass. Not going to be able to fully get that pick up onto Xin Zhao. And it looks like he's going to be able to live here. Used by your name. Trying to get that. Unstoppable. Not to any avail, though. So, Xin Zhao is going to live another day. But that is going to be Mountain Drake going over towards the side of Miami Vice, giving them soul.
We do see the gold kind of teetering here on the side of Miami Vice, which, you know, makes sense. They're up 4 turrets. They have soul now, which is honestly going to be very difficult for this Jinx. Because, you know, I mean, yeah, they have the Borg on the side of Xin Zhao, but it's going to be really hard for Rivals to kill this team with Mountain Soul. And we do see...
Yeah, I mean, talk about Soul, I just completely forgot around the name of Yone E. It's actually Soul Unbound, but it has come back to me now. Slowly starting to remember the names. Going for the Baron fight. This isn't an EU Baron fight, so it's not going to be trolled, I hope. Let's not cast the curse it just yet. Zinzao gonna be just completely poked out here. Not able to go for that recontest onto the Baron. But ooh, oh, what a snipe with a fate sealed by there from the side of Noso. But the fight is going to continue. Nautilus has hooked back into it. Sejuani passive is going to get procs hit. And a nice little E from her as well. Gonna be just going for that aggress onto the minions, trying to push out that mid wave. Top lane is able to be pushed out as well here, though, Lucky.
Yeah, I do like what they're doing here on the side of Miami Vice now.
Oh, what a Renata hook!
Now, something I would like to see, right, is it is good to completely just Uber dive this mid lane and take everything that you can. But if you look at the waves, right, both waves are neutral. And we do see something
It is
going
a bit of a neutral, but I think this may be the chance for Miami to end the game here. Ornn is going to use Calling Forge, but to no avail. Going to be absolutely decimated under his own tower. HP chunked out. Nexus wide open for the taking. Going to be going for that little bit of a fight. Zinzao using that ultimate, trying to sustain the damage from the side of the Yone here, but to no avail. It's looking like the game is going to be over. First game to the side of Miami Vice.
Now, this is exactly the opposite of what I would have thought, right? Because as we talked previously in draft, Miami Vice did have more of a difficult team comp to pull off, but the fact that they were 5 strong, 4 strong, and are catching people out, like for instance the support at times, the jungle for rivals at times, it was just something I like to see going in the game too is rivals being more connected, right? Because they did seem a little disjointed that game, and Miami Vice was just able to capitalize on it.
Yeah, talking about capitalization, I think Rivals most definitely would have benefited a little bit more of playing around the other side of the map. Ziggs was allowed to free farm quite a little bit, and you can tell by the CS difference and the gold difference. Maybe, Ziggs does have that capability to not be dived properly, but when he is solo, I would have appreciated maybe a little bit more of urgency around shutting him down. Equally, from the side of Rivals, I would have liked to see Husky being a little bit more fights. This is where we go, but you learn things, you learn. But that's something that we hope to see in the next match.
Yep. I feel like, honestly, going back to your point briefly before we move on to the next, or move to a little break, it would have been nice, right, if the Jinx would have got accelerated, because an accelerated Jinx into the side of Miami Vice is honestly really terrifying. Because, right, this Echo wasn't able to really do much, getting the kills and gold that they had got. So honestly, would have probably been slightly better to index a lot of the early lane pressure into the Jinx, in my opinion. Because the 3-item Jinx compared to a 3-item Yone, as long as the Jinx just actually positions correctly, right? And you can't really get to her on the side of Miami Vice, Jinx can just take over a game. So
I'm so sorry, Lucky. I have to say something to add on to this. I have
Yeah,
just
go ahead.
noticed. Take a look at the scoreboard. Look at Jinx.
Uh-huh.
Tell me if you see anything odd about her numbers. Do you see it?
No, I can't say I do, man. I'm not gonna lie.
Jinx has 2 vision score.
oh no. And he doesn't have a blue ward being level 14. Oh no. That is tragic.
Husky. Come on, man. I mean, this is something that ADCs are typically known for. When you're level 9, you take that blue ward, you take that distance away. Maybe your ward in front of you. There's some good blue ward spots, especially on the side of bot lane. But not a single blue ward in this entire chat.
Or pink.
But
they were just so starved, man. They were just so starved. So, in a point, I don't blame them, right? Because you want to try to get your item specs as soon as you can on Jinx, but 2 vision scores are gonna cut it, man. I'm sorry.
just completely unlucky. But we will be seeing how this game goes into the next game, but I believe we will be taking a little bit of an intimate break where me and Lucky are going to get a little hot and spicy about what we're thinking about for next game. Oh, we are back into game 2 on Summoner's Rift, Lucky. Now, we did skip draft here, but we are able to go over it nice and quickly. I'm going to speedrun this, so put on your seatbelt and get in for some action. Rivals, Ban, Hega Jinx, Amumu, Hui, and Poppy. And then Miami Vice, Zyra again, funnily enough, they really don't want Source to be playing that Zyra. Then it's going to be MF, Echo. I mean, Echo's fair enough based on that performance that Razors for Life did have. And then Orianna and Akali really putting some pressure onto the side of Razors, forcing him to go on to something that maybe wouldn't be too fitted. But we're going to have a little bit of an estimate. We're going to have a little bit of a bet. Now, you tell me, Lucky, what do you think?
So honestly, honest opinion, Miami Vice cooked a little bit too hard, I think. Rivals definitely has the better team comp this game, but then again, right? We have to
Burnt the
keep
pan
in
a
mind
little,
that
eh?
Rivals did have the easier team comp last game too, right? And they proceeded to just get caught out. So we'll have to see the transition from that game to this game, which I have to see what happens. But honestly, I don't see a World War Rivals doesn't take this. Honestly.
Yeah, I think they might have accidentally started a grease fire with the side of Miami's team comp here. I mean, I'm not too sure about the Pyke pick. I think that most definitely has value early game, but towards the end, it slowly starts to fall off, and especially into their team comps, where if Pyke is going to get nice and close, that Braum is absolutely just going to obliterate him.
Do see some trading going on mid here.
I'm trading. Flash is going to come out from both of them. Not close enough, but first blood onto the side of Razors. Just absolutely flashing away and making sure he's not able to go into that auto attack range.
That was upsetting. That was very upsetting.
That was a little upsetting to watch, actually. We would call that unlucky, but equally we'd call that a little bit of intage. Razors going to be starting this game off again in the lead. Going to be nice and healthy onto this. I think for a little bit of a gauge, Braum showing them why they're absolutely not scared. Cleanse has come out, but Braum passive, just being able to get those stuns. Braum is such a scary laner, especially with Ashe.
More so that early, I don't know. I feel like Braum's probably, in terms of supports, probably one of the best supports super early. Even more so if you, like you stated earlier, if you have a champ like Ashe or like a champ like Jinx or like Caitlyn even, is very, very, very good pairing. Or even like a Lucian. We'll just have to see what happens in spot lane.
In this patch, it was Braum, Rel, stuff like that. They're all typically quite strong, and especially fitting when you're going to have these team fights that rivals want to. I think they're going to most definitely have an easier time in a team fight. Nocturne does have some follow-up, like the Pyke. The Pyke can close that distance quite fast, but immediate follow-up is going to be more towards the side of rivals.
Yep. And I feel like Zeri, for the most part, I believe does scale a little bit harder than Ashe, but it's a simple fact of does this jungle want to play this bot lane, right? It is very hard having something like a Ashe Braum to have to gank, but if the Zeri can get online, it's the same thing, I believe, with the Jinx. No. I'm thinking different teams. But I don't know. I feel like this is a better pick for this ADC, right? Because Ashe is more utility based, so you don't really want to play towards her as much. You can, but for the most part, she can just neutralize a lot of lanes. We do see something happening in top lane here.
Do see a little bit of a gank coming out from Nick here, but to no avail just yet. There's going to be an amplifying tome and a mana crystal above the Yone hit for the side of Razors. Going to be a lot stronger in lane, I believe. So Yone HP going to be slightly depleted. Pyke going for this aggress, but going to be a little tricky. No mana for the side of rivals. Going to have to back off here. Ashe in a little bit of danger. Hook has come out to the Braum. This might be a little dangerous. Flash has come out from the side of Source, as I said, trying to keep that distance off, not trying to give kills onto that Zeri. Zeri is one of those hard scaling champions, especially with Pyke. No roaming early though, so far. Trying to keep this Yone nice and healthy.
So we do see the Wukong is invading, considering, they did see the Nocturne bot, which I like. But the thing is, right, Dragon's up. Wukong's already got his reset. He's got items. Not really the items that I would suspect a Wukong to have first, right? Because unless Wukong is just unless he does have just super high base damage, right? We do see a potential kill. Yep.
Ooh, I didn't want to cut you off, but just fighting that Mel when she's currently just so much stronger than you, especially on range-wise, it's just a straight mission back to the fountain. That's that quick back that some people talk about when they're kind of coping a little. Nah, it's fine, man. I quick backed. But 2-0 Mel, 5 minutes. Razors is something not to be messed with in the mid lane.
Exactly. And we do see this bot lane taking a reset after they push the wave. The thing is, right, is depending on what Ashe, BF Sword, okay. At this point, there should be no reason why we don't just take this dragon on the side of rivals. Ash is so strong compared to this area.
Yeah, gonna be a BF sword up. That extra attack damage is gonna be quite nice, especially with that Braum passive. Gonna make it a little bit harder. We do see rivals joining up as one, trying to go for this nice and early Drake. No mid prio in mid lane, however. Gonna make it a little bit hard for Mel to roam down. But no avail just yet. Yone trying to go in, using that Mortal Steel, just making sure that this Mel's HP is getting chunked out. Wukong is going to come in. Fate Sealed, gonna be used to try get away, but to no avail. Gonna be picked up again by Razors.
Well, Ray's just having, if this is the second game in a row, he is just having a rough time right now. Ray's also one of those, Ray, my bad. Mel is also one of those champs that if they get far ahead, they can just take over a game like the Echo. So
Yeah,
we'll just have to see what Razor plans to do with this early advantage.
early advantage indeed. No mid prio just yet, so this is going to be a little bit harder to take the Drake, but it is going to continue.
Yeah, so this is something, like I stated previously, that I like seeing from the side of rivals, right? Because you do have the Jinx that is stronger. Honestly, I feel like at this point, maybe we know the Mel's even stronger here. I'm curious about this gold diff though in a mid lane, currently as it stands.
Unlucky, bit of a wave hit. Slow pushing it would be the ideal for the side of Rivals here. Just trying to increase that gold difference a little bit more. Yone, with that Mortal Steel and the Soul Unbound, just trying to get some more damage onto Razors. Make sure he is still into this game. But I feel like top lane's a little bit of an island right now. All of the damage and action we're getting is on the bottom side of the map. But Nocturne is going to be on these grubs.
And he's gotten all of them, which is honestly very good. But the thing is, right, on the side of Miami Vice, okay, nothing's happening, just a little poking. On the side of Miami Vice, right, is you don't really have champions, like for instance the Trist or like the Ziggs that can take turrets. I mean, honestly, the same with the Ashe. I lied. The Ashe does pretty well taking turrets. We do see don't nothing top lane. They're just filling each other out at this point.
Trying to set up for a dive, but to no avail for the side of Nick. It should realistically, this lane wants to go the way they want it to. Should be a little bit more of an abuse from the side of Ashe and Braum. Fate Sealed going into Mortal Steel, but sadly, going to be absolutely cooked by the Soul Unbound. Mel Ultimate is going to come out, just completely sending that Yone back.
Jeez. Ray needs some milk, man.
Ooh, lights have been shut off. Yone just gonna absolutely not have any idea what is going on in his lane. Monkey with the little spinny stick, just trying to see what he can do. Shen ulti has come out. Monkey with the little spinny stick is gonna be able to reproc it here. So Muncher getting one for his life, managing to get that shot down nicely onto Mel, but first time in the mid lane.
I'm gonna start using that monkey with spinning stick. He's no longer.
Yeah, it's the monkey with the little stick, man. He's spinning around. He's having his fun time, and Mel's just doing Mel things.
So we don't see any major objective up for about 2 minutes. So it's just a lot of filling each other out, potentially getting more kills. I would like to see the Zeri is now either nope, she's up on damage over this Ashe. So
this lane is looking very Jova for the side of Renegade. Just trying to use that Mortal Steel to see if he can get any damage out, but it's looking like it's to no avail. Nocturne is going to be the bot side of the map here. The lights are still going to be on, so no gank necessarily. Pyke, E-Flash with the little amount of mana he has, but I think Braum literally just might be able to aura walk just straight out of this gank.
Yeah, that's the only thing I don't care about Zarya as a champ, right? Because her Q, if you're stuck behind a wave, unless you pop ult there or even flash, you can't really get in range to do damage. So
Drake up in a minute. This bottom side of the map is looking so strong. Razor's just completely fed with that Soulfire Torch, just completely decimating this mid lane here. Gonna be a lot of prio for this Chemcheck Drake.
yep. I'm curious to see how much gold this Ashe is sitting on right now. Cause I'm starting to feel like they're close to. I believe they're going Yintel's first item.
Seeing what he can do. I understand that this is Moby's White's best champion here. A little bit of an attack move here. Trying to see what they can get onto the side. Monkey with a spinny stick, just trying to peel off here. Ashe, 1 HP. Trey is going to be able to get that pick onto it, but I'm not too sure they are going to be able to escape here. He may be on the board or not. Not too entirely sure. Wukong is going to get turned the lights off by Nocturne, and Soul Muncher is just absolutely going to be able to close that distance. Aurora does have the TP down. Mel is going to nearly be shut down. Soul Unbound from the Yone, making sure that he is going to be able to go there. Mortal still has been used as well. Managing to get that nice, juicy shutdown onto the side of Mel. This is something we talked about. All of that prio that you do have just completely destroyed by Noto.
We do see this dragon go over the side of Miami Vice. Which, you know, it makes perfect sense. You get a good fight, you're able to get your prio, and then you get the dragon. So, you know, the only thing I wish, right, is like there was an easier way to see when teams have feats or what feats they get in the spectators client, but small indie company, I guess.
Small indie company, this most definitely is. And you know what else is a small indie company? The amount of gold Mel is sitting on. This has got to be a crazy amount. Just going in with the poke damage. Yone trying to make this lane a little bit more laneable. Now, as we see, bot lane should try to go for a little bit more of an aggressive punish in this bot lane. 2v2, they're going to hard lose it, but we will see. Pyke E and Zarya does go in. Both Braum passives are onto them. Shen is coming out with a TP. Zarya, nice early grave. Ashiharu is going to be able to hit, so the fight is still going to go. Braum passive again, one more, and that Pyke gets stunned out of his life. Managing to get away with a nice little E from the side of Moby, making sure we know why he is on C9 here, but to no avail. Rift is going to be up in 40, so we are potentially looking at a little bit of a reset towards the side of mid lane for the bot lane here.
Like, yeah. This
Pyke, solo mission! Gonna be able to get one onto Husky, but maybe not being able to get that out at all. TP has been used from the side of Renegade here. Pyke trying to get shut down by Saucer, giving the kill over. Very wise choice, not giving it to the side of Nick.
We did see the TP exhausted, which of course hit ult, but it creates pressure. We do see though that they did send 2 topside for this Rift Herald, and we are potentially getting a mid here from Miami Vice. Honestly, Miami Vice is playing honestly super clean back row in my opinion.
Yeah. Team comp may not be as nice, but the macro is most definitely teetering into their way. We do see a little bit of move mid here, but to no avail of the objectives.
Yep. Something to keep in mind, right, is we'll have to see if it's a repeat of game 1, right? If rivals either smartened up or if they will make the same mistakes that they made last game when different people getting caught out. Which it doesn't look like.
I mean, something's already changed. Husky's
No.
got more than 2 vision score. They've
Hey,
tripled
there
it. They're on
we go.
6.
There we go. Let's go, Husky. Oh.
I'm not too sure what was going on there. Moby White with a little bit of a solo mission again, not being able to get one. Ultimate was able to use, but I'm not sure they were under execution health. This is where we just look at a little bit of who can play the lane better. Dive maybe going onto the Yone hip, just trying to clean out the wave. Wukong with the little spinny stick, just completely shut down by Razor. Trying to go for that. Not to any progression. Not with the lights turned off. Not in fear range. Sadly, I'm not too sure how much value that is going to get. Drake is going to be up in a minute. So, Lucky, how about you tell me what value was going off there?
The only value that I can necessarily see is the fact that... Oh, I think we're seeing something here mid real quick. Nope. Okay, the only value that I can theoretically see, right, is this Mel being as far ahead as they are, doesn't really have the flash. I mean, once this Mel is dead, a lot of the time, yeah, you have like the Ashe, but if I'm the side of Rivals here, I am trying to keep this Mel alive so she can output as much damage as she can, and that flash being down could be very vital.
Yep. I would like to see a little bit more of an aggress from the side of I believe it is Miami Vice. Just trying to make sure if that Mel is in a solo lane, see what you can do. Maybe go for a dive onto the tower. Or maybe even just go to the other side of the map and get an objective.
Wow. So, well, Ray still does damage even though he is pretty far behind.
That is that Balkan lethal tempo for you there, Lucky. Just absolutely disgusting. Wukong trying to go with the fake clone there. Not too sure that was a smart decision, but, you know, to an avail. Mid tower is going to get destroyed for the side of Miami Vice. Just trying to get that nice early bit of prio. Bromstar has come out. Ashe Arrow equally to a degree. Aurora is going to be on that 1 HP, almost taken out by the Brom Q. But just trying to make sure that Rift Herald doesn't get any more tower damage. Otherwise, the game is going to be a little bit more difficult. Mel, most definitely in a position where she can get capitalized on. Protection is going to be used. Moby's HP is not in a safe place in this fight.
It is not. We do see this next major team fight potentially looking over this dragon. Ooh.
Setting up that vision in Sea Bush. Yone just trying to go in nice and early. Lights have been turned off. They are going for the aggress, but Monkey Bunny Spinny Stick trying to protect them. Brawn passive. Such a key piece of utility in this fight. Just completely swept up by the fact of the team has faster attack speed. Zeri going with the attack cut and going really well. Shen managing to get onto that stun from the Brawn passive, but I don't think it's going to be enough. Trade's just going to be completely taken down. Aurora is not the scary one in this game. It is Mel.
That is indeed Mel. Zeri did what they could. And for the most part, it looked like it was going pretty well until it wasn't. So we'll just have to see if they capitalize on this dragon here with 2 members. We do see the Nocturne up, though, but he doesn't have ult. Yeah, I think this is just a free drag for Rivals here. Or theoretically should be, but we do see Miami Vice collapsing slowly, so...
From not on the board here. TP is going to come up from the side of Mel, making sure they are able to fight this. Miami Vice going to have to back off a little. No steal just yet. Rivals trying to make sure they are going to come. Soul Unleashed is going to come out from a Yone. Absolute decimation from the side of Miami Vice. Making sure they're going to be able to clean up this fight. But Rivals are here to swoop it under the rug. Insane arrow snipe from the side of Husky. Making sure... I just completely lost my words. Making sure that... You're going to have to help me out, Lucky. They're so irrelevant in this game. It's not actually going to be able to help them. I was about to say Neon. My mind is so Valorant coded, I've just completely forgotten that Zeri is a champion in this game.
You know, honestly, I think that's probably the thing that Riot as a company was going for, right? Because, I mean, they both run fast. They both use electricity.
As a caster who swaps games, it makes it so much harder for me. I've got Neon and Zeri who look identical. And when I cast Valorant and then I cast Valorant, what am I talking about? Valorant, you can see the type of stuff it does to me.
Exactly. So we did see this Otacon picked up for the side of Rivals, which is going to be very scary. That burn damage for the Mel being 8 and 2 on 2 items. This is disgusting, scary Mel. And we're just about
Scary
to see this.
days. Where has Moby's HP gone? Just completely deleted from the sanctum of life that this is.
And that's that Mel damage on top of that Otacon buff. So that just goes to show you how scary of a champ this Mel is. These
Now, if you are Pyke in this situation, I think you're feeling pretty useless. As a support player myself, you know, Pyke is good in that early game, but when it comes to situations like this, where Mel is so strong and you're not exactly able to do much, you're feeling absolutely useless. Maybe you would have rather picked that Rel or an aspect like it. But double flash from both out. Soul Unleash is going to try it, but to no effect from the Yone there. Just trying to make sure they are able to get it. Lights have completely got shot off. Just trying to make sure they both have power on the side of the map. One Wukong ultimate has been used. Second spinny stick to try slow this Aurora down. W has been used to try get a little bit closer. Q just completely shutting that Aurora down. Whoa! What was that flash from Husky?
that was quite Moby. No.
What, Moby?
Moby.
Moby?
Oh.
Moby!
Oh, Moby, why? I guess he thought he could do more damage than what he could. I don't know, man. I'm stunned for words there.
It was an execute. It is fine. Not giving the kill necessarily over to the side of Soul Muncher. I mean, that is worth, but Pyke has a mobility aspect to him. I don't necessarily think that may have been worth it. Turret was taken, though. So, some numbers on the board at least. Now, Lucky, tell me something.
Okay.
Are you scared if you're the side of Miami Vice here?
I am 100% terrified. You have a 10 and 3 Mel. Almost like halfway through that third item, you have a 4 and 2 Wukong with 2 items, and then no, honestly, those are really the only two. We do see Ashe though, kind of even in the Zeri or with the Zeri on items, but the thing is, man, this Mel is just a menace. I don't know how on Miami Vice you can potentially catch out the Mel unless you find him alone, but for the most part, it looks like Rivals is doing a good job kind of hovering around the Mel. I think they figured out that Mel is their win con this game, honestly.
Most definitely a win con to be played around. Wukong gonna be caught out in this bush. No vision effectively, but Soul Unleashed, triple knock up for Yone, which is gonna get completely decimated when he goes back to his Soul Unbound. Now, double objectives are going to be up for this game plan here. It's going to be an aspect of, are they going to try to go for Drake first, or are they going to try to set up around Baron?
So honestly, if you're the side of Rivals, right, you want this dragon, but then again, it's the same thing with like last game, right? Is they could give up this dragon and just look to turbo into that Baron. But the thing is, right, is this top lane is just getting pushed in, and it's very hard to look for this Baron without having that top prio. So we'll just have to see what they plan on doing here. But honestly, I believe they're gonna try to look for this dragon on the side of the Rivals.
Top pro, making it a little bit harder. No Shen ulti for the side of Decipher. No, I'm completely incorrect. That is Shen ulti. Apologies. It's a little small on my screen, so it's a little difficult to see. Mel, just trying to help him hit. Taunt is going to miss, but the damage is still there. Bot lane fight going to come out. Double on stun onto Zeri. Cleanse is a little bit late. Completely 1 HP. Q has come out from Wukong. TP as well for the side of Decipher. Just gonna completely, as I say, decipher this fight just so fast.
I do like what Renegade is doing. You know, yeah, they're getting Dragon, but I'm taking your tier 2 tower mid. Now we'll see if Ray looks to potentially rotate top here so they can get that second outer turret top. And then from there they can look to set up Baron Vision.
Baron Vision, most definitely key. Now, I'm thinking if I am Rivals, I am so far ahead in this game, no matter if it is gold, items, or even just objectives. As you can see, it's pretty one-sided. I mean, Miami Vice do have grubs, but to no avail, that's not really going to matter when the enemy team is so much stronger. I'd like to see them put a little bit more pressure, even if it's just not letting them walk up the mid lane or even just getting these objectives.
Mm-hmm. We do see some poking going out here.
Poking is most definitely going to come out. Lights have been turned off. This fight is just complete decimation for the side of Rivals here. Making sure they are going to be able to get one. Wukong is still in this fight. Not going to be able to do much. Stunned out from the side of Moby. But Zeri, the cleanup crew, just going to be able to turn this fight one way around. Not the side we expected this fight to go. But mid-pro handed over to the side of Miami.
So that was a very clean positioning and fight from the Zeri, right? They wasn't really touched, so they was able to just output so much damage. And Zeri with 2 items is, that's about when she hits her power spike. So that's very, very well played on the side of Miami Vice from Trey.
Most definitely well played. Now, one objective is up, but for Miami Vice, you need to be getting back into this game with that prior.
Yeah, we do see some vision coming out from Miami Vice here for this Baron. The thing is, though, is look at that mid wave. Also, something very well. The count for is Husky has 14 vision score.
Huge. Making sure that number is up, as we said first game. Not a single blue ward, but here, showing how they're rich in it now.
Yeah, they're living the good life now.
Living that good life indeed. Now, Baron still up, so are able to set up for it, or even get some vision. Mel, just trying to catch up one, making sure Aurora isn't going to be able to do much. Nice Zhonya's from the side of Noto. They don't get killed by Mela. Staying in the game a little longer here.
It's very, very well timed hourglass on the side of Noto. The thing is, right, is Dragon still has 2 minutes, but we're fighting over this dragon pressure. I don't know. I guess they know something I don't.
They're clearly a mind reader. Now, in my humble opinion, I have a little bit of a feeling that more pressure needs to be put onto mid here. Even letting them walk up here for Rivals isn't the right play. They need to be able to show them, look, you cannot do this. We are so far ahead of you that you are physically not even allowed to smell my mid lane.
Yep, I completely agree. Would you see, though, that I believe Rivals has actually heard me, and they're actually getting prio for this Baron. Which is good, makes me happy. Wait a second.
I don't think Noto knows that he's there. Raised up with the sneak attack, managing to get it out. Ultimate is on board for him, so he is able to use it to get that kill onto Noto. Gonna be able to be up 1 number now, so they are able to try and find a little bit more value here. Mel managing to get away, but not forever. Is going to be in the pits of despair here. Having to use flash to get out. Ultimate has been used by Yone, but to no avail as well. Pyke on a solo mission. Moby just completely one-shot here. Nice little bit of a distraction for Rivals. Just able to completely split map it. Nocturne gonna be a little confused here. Turning the lights off. Managing to get onto one. It's a battle of a smite. Gonna be able to just pick this up for the side of Nocturne here. Soul Muncher showing that they are still in the game. 1 Baron buff left for them. Gonna be on to the side of Renegade, but I believe he is gonna be shut down pretty quickly here, especially with that Braum passive, showing us why it's so strong late game.
Yeah, that's a pretty good trade for Rivals, right? I mean, yeah, they don't get Baron, but
Neither does Miami Vice. So hey,
I will take that any day of the week. And they're looking to get Soul here. Wow.
Yep, looking to get Soul indeed. Look at that Ash attack speed, especially paired with Braum. One stun and the game is just a pitch over.
so that's gonna be very good on the side of rivals, right? Because I mean, this means you can be in fights longer and then kind of fall back, regain your health, and just look to fight for objectives again. So we do see the next objective coming up is that Elder. No. Wait. No. No, I stand corrected. It's Baron again before Elder. I am mistaken.
Perfectly fine. But as gold comes up onto our board, we can see
Ooh.
the most discrepancy gap will be in the top lane, circumventing around about a K gold lead. Side the Wood of the Aurora.
my
I mean,
God.
I don't even want to say it anymore. Moby, just one press of the R and this guy's back to the sea. I mean, the river is just not on his side here.
Honestly, from my POV, it's looking like they have swapped, right? Because last game you had rival support getting caught out a lot, and now this game it's Miami Vice's support. So it was just like they just swapped. Which I mean, hey, fair enough.
A little bit scary for the side of both teams here. One mess up and the game will go into the other hand. Now, I will say Rival is quite far ahead in their stance, but as said before, lovely little bit of underdogs in this games where, you know, you just have that discrepancy of being able to scrap each other. Any lead is a lead, and especially when the gold is not even that far apart.
Yeah, that's the wild thing, right? Is like even though that rivals are ahead, the gold isn't as bad as you would suspect. This just goes to show how good Miami Vice or how good Miami Vice is of a team, you know, to at least stay relatively even, all things considering.
Mel, most definitely looking a little scary to shut down. Maybe going to require a little bit more focus, but from Rivals, I would like to see a little bit more of an aggressive play, letting them walk up onto the mid lane here, especially even get their own camps, feels a little illegal.
It does, 100%. Now, if you're the side of Miami Vice here, right? How do you get back in this game? Because, I mean, in terms of gold-wise, you're really not completely out of the game just yet. But it is starting to get to that point, I feel.
If I'm the side of Miami Vice, I'm looking for either oversteps or non-contestions. Yes, the objectives are up in 2 minutes, but look at that nice little bot wave. No one's contesting it, right? So that non-contestant thing is just go push that out. Be solo in that lane. Apply the Baus FFS law. If you're in a lane by yourself, you're doing something right. But ultimates are going to come out. 4 picked up for the side of Yone, making sure he's able to get nice and in and out consistently. Aurora not able to get too much follow-up onto that fight. Going to be a little bit of a bait in the side of Miami Vice there. Marvel had me stunned because of so many flashy plays you do like to see in those action type of movies. Going to be quite similar to this game.
So something interesting to keep in mind, right, is the Nocturne wasn't even there for that fight. So they took a 4v5, which is not the best. Which is like I was stating last game, right? Around this mid-game to like late game, as a jungler, your camps don't really matter anymore, right? You take them if you can, but a lot of time you want to be around your team more, trying to facilitate them. I mean, it is a little bit harder if Nocturne doesn't have ult, right? But I don't know. I just don't think camps at this state of the game are very beneficial, in my opinion, for a jungler.
Now, if we look at the KDAs, right? One team has bounties on every single person, right?
Yeah.
400, 250, etc., etc. One team doesn't have a bounty on a single person. Now, here's the bit that I want people to think about. Miami Vice are still in this game. They are still so strong within these team fights that they don't actually need to be too scared. Forcing a fight where they may be up a member is still beneficial.
Oh, 100%. Even more so if you can start getting a lot of these shutdowns.
But
Let me just
speaking
see.
of forcing a fight, a little bit of a scrap in the bot lane gonna happen on here. Aurora losing half of her HP, gonna be picked up by the Mel.
It doesn't
I
even
mean,
matter at this point, man.
it doesn't
If
even
you're
matter. I predicted it before it happened, Lucky. I said picked up and just one button press, instant decimation, and then instant deletion.
at this point, man, if you're on the same screen as Mel, we do see the flash.
I was about to say a flash happened. It came off my screen for a second, but gonna be taunted. Not close enough for the follow-up to be able to happen. Equally, Mel not being on that ultimate. Gonna be playing a little bit for that bot lane prio. Trying to just make sure they can be in this rotation for the Elder.
So we do see the magics of this Ocean Soul really playing off, right? Because Mel was below half health and now she's just back to full again, so she's able to stick around in this lane. I do like the fact, well, no, I say that, I don't know if I like this at all, the fact that they're trading Elder for Baron, right, because you do have a Mel, so at this point, and I'll say it again, if you're on Mel's screen, you're just dead, you might as well just...
Ooh,
just
Flash Taunt is going to be coming out from Decipher, trying to see if he is able to pick up that one, as he does have Elder. That burn is going to be there. Trying to see a little bit of a one-man army mission. And Mel does have that execute with her art, but equally, Elder is going to have one. What is that damage? Just
Oh my
instant deletion.
That is disgusting. And see, this is going back to don't really care for that trade, Elder for Baron, honestly. Even more so, the Mel's almost at 20 kills. This is just disgusting. In a good way if you're the side of rivals.
Yeah, definitely a good way if you are the side of rivals. Now, something I have noticed is both of these teams struggle a little bit when trying to close out the distances. Especially when ahead, I mean, we talk about now the fact that rivals are up around 5k gold lead, Decipher, managing to get one onto Noto. So that pressure is going to be amplified onto these towers now.
Yep, something to notice is even... Oh, flash forward. Something to notice, right, is even though that Miami Vice does have this Baron, I mean, yeah, it does prevent rivals from closing out this game, but with the amount of shutdowns... Oh, wait. I think...
He should be fine here. Shen on a little bit of a solo mission. Maybe just making sure he is fine there. Yone going in. Managing to pick up 2 hits. I told you, this is the fight that they needed. And this is the fight that they need to be in the game. Nocturne still going. Braum passive. Making sure that he is stunned here. Monkey spin. Wukong monkey mission. Here we go. Curious George. Just trying to make sure he can end out this game for his team. Now, I would like to see a little bit more of a split side of rivals hit. Maybe if 3 of you are mid, 2 of you go bot, take that tower. Or equally, 1 of you goes top with that pushing out wave.
Yep. The thing is, right, is Mel was just able to play so safe with Braum there. The fact that... Oh, what's happening?
Aurora, Zhonya's lost. Gonna be able to keep him alive for an extra second hit. Zeri damage quite consistent. I'm not sure it's gonna be enough to keep this fight going. Flash forward for Zeri, trying to make sure they're gonna be able to get 1.2k shut down for the side of Zeri hit, making sure Mel, one of their lesser deaths hit, going back to the fountain. Pyke Moby is on that solo mission, chasing that wave like he is typically in the stories. Fight isn't going to be able to go that side though. Decipher is going to be able to taunt him, and Moby back to the grave.
Jeez.
Singing that sea shanty all the way back.
There is one good thing, right, is Mel no longer has a shutdown. And it went to Zeri. Someone that you generally want to have that shutdown. Now, if I am Zeri here, I would have honestly preferred to potentially see the Bloodthirster over the IE. I mean, yeah, the IE does more damage, but the fact is, right, is you want to attempt to stay alive as long as you can in these fights to output the most damage that you can. So, did you see? Okay, nope.
Inhib
So,
is going to go down for the side of Rivals, just trying to keep that pressure up.
so given a rough estimate, do you think this game will end soon or no?
To be honest, I think both teams are drawing it out. I think Miami Vice could be back in that game if they really wanted to be. Force a fight, as we can see, they are still strong in these team fights. But equally, I think Rivals should have ended this game about 15 minutes ago.
Yeah, that is completely valid. Even more so with a 20-5 Mel. That is just disgusting. It still is. The crazy thing is, right, is it still is anyone's game, which is wild. But if you're the side of Miami Vice, we'll kind of skip to Game 3 draft a slight bit. I'll touch on it. Is if you're the side of Miami Vice, you either have to ban or pick this Mel because Razor is just showing honestly for the most part a masterclass on this Mel.
No matter who you ban, it is gonna be beneficial for Razor. Now, I will say, I think Moby may have sung a few too many She Santis, putting himself to sleep on that boat. Maybe Pyke wasn't the pick, even though it's typically a champion that they are known for. It's not too good in this game, especially at the moment. Pyke is one of those picks that I think very good on vision control. We have to give him his flowers here, Moby. 151 vision score rather than 82. That's a torrential difference for the side of both teams. But
Oh my god. Yeah, it
it's
doesn't
not
even
going to matter when your Yone's doing things like that.
It doesn't even matter at this point, man. Like I've stated before, if you're on Mel's screen and you get hit with one ability, you might as well just accept your fate. So, theoretically, you would think this game should end soon. They have been triple inhibited, which is very difficult to play into. Now it's not completely unplayable, but it does make things just so difficult.
Difficult indeed. Tower pressure is being inched on. Aurora trying to sit in the way of harm's way. Zhonya's Hourglass is going to keep them alive for the minute, but not forever. This is the way we expected the fight to go. Just complete utter decimation. Rivals don't care that you're under their tower. This is their game to close down, and it's looking like it's going to be 1-1.
So that is expected. Not really the time that we would have preferred it to go. Right? It was almost a 45-minute game, which is a banger, right? 'Cause we enjoy bangers down here, 100%. But so going into Game 3, right? What does Miami Vice have to do to take the series?
Draft better. 2 words.
Nah, that's completely valid.
Honestly, 2 words, but a legacy will be made if they actually do it correct. I think they do have the better macro sense. We did see it in that game trading Baron for Elder, but I don't know, man. They're just drafting team comps that necessarily don't work together.
There's not much synergy here with the Aurora, Nocturne. I mean, yes, in a sense, because, Nocturne, Aurora, and Yone both want to go in, but Zeri going into the enemy team comp is just really hard for Zeri to play unless you're, Gumayusi, right? But, I mean, let's be
Yeah.
honest here. None of us will ever live up to that, man.
Yeah. Braum into Pyke is always going to be very difficult. That shield, Braum W being able to, just pounce onto his teammate, and as soon as Pyke's in, getting that passive onto him, it's going to be a one-way street of shutdown, just purely for Pyke. But going into that third game, it is going to be a 1-1, so it's just a knife's edge for both teams here. Maybe Rivals is going to be able to pull it away, or maybe Miami is going to be able to, show the sun. It will purely, I think, both teams be reliant on that draft diff, but we will see what the draft is as we will be going into Game 3 after the break.
Alrighty. Game 3, Evan. Game 3. It all comes down to
Ooh.
this for all the marbles. The previous games don't really matter. It's now a best of 1.
All the marbles indeed. This is the most important one. Indefinite. Game is teetering on that knife's edge, but one team will come out victorious of this and be able to, take home that bragging rights. But as we did the same last time, let's have a little quick talk about draft. Put that seatbelt on. Let's see what happens whilst we have all of this off time. Now, Source is on that Zyra, and Husky is on that MF. Tell me about it, Lucky.
So, it's two of their most played picks, I'd say. Now the thing is, right, is if and this is no shade at all, if Husky builds correct. We'll just have to see what Husky goes with build-wise. He does have the PTA, so generally you'd want to see into that Bloodthirster, Essence Reaver, into, honestly, this game, something like a Mortal Reminder for that Gwen. So, you could even go like Serpent's Fang, honestly. But Jinx Lulu is a really strong lane. And Vicar just stacking for free. We like that.
Right, we most definitely do like that. Now, I believe that both of these teams' bot lane are quite scary. If one of them gets ahead, you're definitely going to feel it. But in aspect, I feel like if that Jinx gets ahead, this game is just over.
Oh, 100%. That's why I don't see teams trying to prioritize this Jinx more, right? Jinx is just such a simple champion. You win team fight.
Talking about prioritizing, I'm going to have to cut you off here. Jarvan, level 2 gank coming into the bot lane. Flash already has been committed by Jinx to make sure he can get to safety. Making sure he has survived that. Jarvan did give his position on the map though, so Sejuani gonna have a field day with that one.
That's the good thing, but also bad thing with Jarvan, right? Is if Jarvan can get something early, it's very good because Jarvan's one of those 3-camp gank jungles. But if you're not able to get anything with early pressure as a Jarvan, yeah, I kind of feel like you're a little homeless, right?
Yeah. Talking about homeless, it looks like Nick is setting up his house in someone else's jungle, making sure he has gotten the blue buff from the side of Sol. Maybe he's a little bit of a spotter, just stealing his household appliances.
Taking his TV, his lamp, his...
Oh yeah, all of his Pokemon cards, absolutely gone.
So I am curious how this first, or what the contention for this first Drake is gonna be, right? We do see it is I believe that is a Ocean, which we do see something potentially happening here bot.
Yep, something is most definitely happening. Gank did come out from Sol to try see what he could do bot lane, but to no avail. It's looking more towards the side of rivals. It's going to be towards, that stronger early game 2v2 aspect. But we will see what happens. Seju looking at see if they can control the bottom side of the map a little bit more, trying to keep that bot lane 2v2 nice and strongly ahead.
Yep. We do see for the most part that CS is for the most part even, right? Which is something we like to see.
Most definitely is something nice we like to see, but what equally else is nice to see is a first blood. Now I want to see that nice and quickly, which we may be looking at the top pick. Gwen has full stacks, but is going to miss all the Qs. Conqueror proc has come out. Flash equally onto them. Gwen is going to be 1 HP, but first blood towards the side of Des. Just a complete decimation.
Yeah, it was very well played. Oh, we see something happening mid.
Second, first blood, potentially one more auto again, but it's not going to be enough. Almost. Pick onto Zed, almost. Renegade showing that for the third time are going to be struggling a little bit more into Razors, but We will see based on how this longer game goes.
So a constant thing that I'm noticing from the side of Miami Vice is that Renegade is very gank prone. I think that's the term. Like he is not really getting out his vision, right? He's getting a lot of ganks on him, so which is
For
not
sure.
good for Zed, because you know you want to get that lead, and then once you get that, I believe it's Ghostblade.
No stacks for the side of Shen here to be able to get 6, almost taken out by the snipping tool, I like to call it, the Windows application, but to no
Yeah.
avail for the side of Noso. Almost got him, but we will see how it goes.
So like I stated earlier, right, with Zed you want to kind of this Ghostblade and look to impact other lanes, but it looks like he's going the what is that item I'm blanking? Eclipse first item. So it doesn't look like he's trying to really roam as much in this game, which you know, fair play.
Now, I have a thing to say. Oh, never mind. Gwen's just completely shutting me up. 1-for-1 in this top lane. You gotta be careful around Gwen when they're full stacks. Now, something I would like to comment is there was a study recently in League of Legends. Not a sports one, guys, don't worry. I know you don't like your physical activity, but it is one to do with Eclipse. Now, typically people who build Eclipse first item, it's actually better for them if they do go Death's Dance. It has around the same stats, but equally it's going to be cheaper. Now, I'm not sure it was on this patch just yet, but it is pretty recent. So I would like to see him build Death's Dance first realistically here, but I'm not sure how strong it is into Veigar. You might as well go something off with like a Maw first, really.
Yeah, no, 100%. Which could be something that he could index into, right, with the longsword. I don't think Pickaxe builds into Maul or even Hex Drinker for that matter. But I could definitely see the Longsword transitioning into the Hex Drinker.
Now, I don't think he's going to be doing any of the fancy builds we suggested. I feel like it's going to be something a little bit more to the basic side, but we will have to see. Second Flash has come out from Jinx, trying to make sure they're not giving away any first bloods. This is a little bit of a scary lane. As we said, nice and early on the first match. Whoever kind of wins this bot lane kind of controls the match.
No, 100%. And Jinx, this is like the second time that Jinx has been without a flash, which is if Jarvan decides he wants to play bot lane, this Jinx is just gonna be in so much trouble. We do see something interesting though, that Jinx is transitioning here for the Kraken over the Intel, which okay.
Oh, I mean, this is just absolute control from the side of Razor. I mean, typically getting the first blood in the mid lane in all 3 matchups now. Not faulting to Renegade in the slightest, but Grubs is going to be taken right under their nose, and all 3 going to go towards the side of Miami Vice, but to no avail of the recontest. Now, as you said, I'd like to see a little bit more of an aggress or even a tower dive onto this Jinx.
100%, it's definitely MF doesn't have the mana. That's unfortunate. That should have been a dead Jinx there, 100%.
It should have been quite an intensive top lane. Previously, 5 stacks again towards the side of Gwen here. With the snip, does equally have needlework up, so will be able to go for a more aggressive play if they do fancy it. But equally, 40 CS up on the board.
Yep. And then the CS bot lane is starting to kind of falter too. Not too bad, but enough. This Lily was just roaming a lot of places and not really helping this Jinx attempt to get accelerated. Like we stated before, right? Once Jinx gets accelerated, this game's just over. So This is why I don't understand with a lot of teams is they don't want to play around the Jinx. I guess they don't value the Jinx as much. I don't really know.
Even with the jungle here, I mean, they've actively known that Jinx hasn't had flash 2 times this game, but roam up into the mid lane. Root is going to be able to catch out Zed here, but Ultimate to escape. Not going to be able to pick up anything onto him realistically. Ultimate has come out, which is going to make it a little bit of an easier lane for Razor, but who's to say it already wasn't?
Yeah, true. Razor just showing a dominant masterclass over Renegade here.
Dominant masterclass. Indeed. Flash will come out from the side of Renegade. Just trying to spare his life a little. But nothing too committed.
Oh, wait a second. That's a
Even
trade.
blows. I didn't want to go absolutely crazy for that play because it looked like he was going to go for it. I mean, that's something that Zed is quite good at. He is an assassin type of character, so he can just explode onto someone nice and easily. Now, this is where it matters. 3v3 in the bot lane. Nick is already going to be onto that Sejuani, but managing to use that pole to escape.
So at the end of the day, that's a good trade for Zed. No, but
Bot lane, 2v2. MF ultimate has been used. Lulu is going to be able to get picked up onto. This is the fight where it matters. Jinx Rocket not going to be able to get the pick up onto Zyra. Already blocked by MF. Nice little bit of bot lane action there. This is where, as we said, it really matters who is winning this bot lane. 5 stacks of snip. Equally, we do have the needle work, so can tower dive if needed. Needle work is going to miss, however, but still there.
We do see Zed walking down here. He wants blood. But I don't think anything's gonna come of this. Nope. Okay. But yeah, like I was stated earlier, right? It's good that Zed got the trade kill. Oh no. Yeah, it should just be a dead. No, I stand corrected. If these people let me talk, it'd be nice.
Stand corrected. Zed with the ultimate hit can use it if he does need to do some fancy footwork, like that one clip in League of Legends that went wild. Look at the cleanse, look at the move. I mean, Renegade, what was that? But we will be just letting Jinx get these 3 plates. Now, Lucky. Tell me how dangerous is it when Jinx gets 3 platings?
It's disgusting, but it doesn't matter.
I mean, talk about free. It's not free for them. It's free real estate for the side of Miami. No, not via Miami. I apologize. It is going to be free for the side of Rivals. Just completely over calculated for the side of Trey, making sure that he needs to know his limits a little.
Exactly. There is something interesting, is this MF is going into the Essence Reaver first. Okay, that's happening. Going into the Essence Reaver first, which is completely fine. It could come back to bite them in the butt, because you have the Zed that can jump on Gwen, the Sejuani, right? And the fact that MF doesn't have cleanse or sustain could hurt them. And we'll just have to see how Rivals positions around this MF.
Sustain in this game is gonna be a little tough for both teams. Misfortune stepping up a little, gonna have to commit the flash to get away, but Jinx Rocket is still there. They can use it if they need to. Shut down for the side of Trey, making sure they are still in this game. Gonna be able to pick up Kraken Slayer now. The amount of money they have on their next back should be. Dangerous game, though, Shen is playing up in this top lane.
Yeah, 'cause, I mean, we already know that at this point, if this Gwen wants to run Shen down, they definitely can. We do see the TP bot, though. Not that, I don't think this is a good TP. They just get
Should first tower hit for the side of Miami Vice. Just making sure that they can get this money is not the best fight, as they are there to just contest that and make sure they do get the picks. So money side is going to go more towards Rivals here. Even though they did give up free tower, they got 2 picks off it. It's going to be around 400 gold towards the side of that. And surprise, surprise, who's fed again?
Definitely hurt Razor. Oh. Okay. That's a nice little turn kill. for the Jinx.
Most definitely so. Zed still in this game though, trying to see if they can get the pick up onto Veigar. Flash was used by him, but Zed not exactly feeling jumping into that river head first.
Jeez. This game is just very, very back and forth, man. We do see the golds once again relatively even for the most part. Honestly, I don't know if I like the Kraken here on Jinx compared to the Yintel. But then again, they're probably expecting the Jinx to be able to be more impactful early, which, you know, does make sense. But me personally, I went for the Intels because there's no real tanks on the side of, well, I guess you could consider Shin a tank.
Shen,
But we do. Good.
building an AD damage item first, trying to get that extra attack, maybe so they can trade a little better with the side of Noto, but Noto gonna be up one item so far, just trying to see what they can do about this contestation for this rift.
I don't think they're an award here. Oh no.
Maybe not. Jinx maybe getting caught out here by the side of Jarvan. Nick Blast curling them away there. Good use of it. Jinx gonna fall down. Trey, unlucky position. This is gonna be a little bit of a more difficult fight here. Up Gwen on the tail of Nick. No avail. It is gonna be the snipping tool, as I said, nicely used, but no, so gonna be going down. This fight is especially harder, and it's looking like a little bit of a free rift to the side of Miami Vice.
It's definitely very unfortunate for the side of of Miami Vice here, right? Because we're starting to see a trend of the first and second game kind of put together, right? Is you have members getting caught out, not walking with their teams. It seems like they're playing very disjointed this game on the side of Miami Vice, which is not something you want at all.
And disjointed is most definitely something that you don't want to be doing when you're running a comp like Miami Vices, right? I almost said word very not similar to that, but it says my expression when I do see a nice little play from that Zed. So we will see a little bit of just farming here. No two ways, just making sure that they are respecting each other a little.
We do see this dragon in 30 seconds, though. We'll see if rivals decide they want to give it up and, for instance, take a mid turret, or if they just want to look to fight this dragon, which honestly I think they should with a 4-1 Veigar.
4-1 Veigar is a keystone in these fights. Just making sure that with one singular button press, your Lulu or Jinx or even your Zed just completely gone. Decimated back to spawn. Rift Herald gonna be used in mid lane. Try put some pressure onto it so they can contest for this Drake. But played a little bit slower than intended. Here we go then. Gwen is immune, typically. Lulu ultimate is going to be here used as well. Trying to make sure that this Gwen can survive. Needlework has been used, trying to get this pick onto Zyra, but Shen TP making sure he is here. Zyra is going to live for now, but this fight is continuing. Sejuani still there, making sure they can get that passive proc with their E nice and easily. Jinx, just complete non-allowed in this fight. Just standing up in the back, pressing right click, being moved aggressively with that Lulu. Just absolute attack speed.
That's exactly what you want to see from a Jinx, right? You get one kill, and then you get 2 kills, and then you look for more kills. Jinx played that fight very well. It did take a while to kill that Lulu, or that Zyra, but this Jinx is proving me wrong and showing why the Kraken was honestly the better buy here over the Intels.
Kraken, not bad into someone like Shen, taking the Hollow Radiant first to clearly deal with someone like Gwen. As they're going to have a little bit more of an easier time into that due to the build difference, but we can look at why potentially they are not trying to fight this. They are a bit stronger typically for the side of rivals here, just off the base fight with items.
Oh, 100%. And there we go. Vigar just lost his bounty. So I mean, he's still super strong here. It doesn't matter if you lose bounty or not. It just takes one baby cage.
One baby cage, one point and click. I mean, the skill expression on that champ. Oh my lord, it's high.
It is. Yeah, it's so high, man.
Yeah, of course, you need to be like Faker to play that champion. Takes so much skill. You know, press 2 keybinds. It's almost like playing Garen.
True.
But Drake is going to be started up. Massive taunt from the side of Desert. Going to be able to combo that with the misfortune of Husky. And a little bit of a sticky situation. Zed going to be on them. Sejuani is going to be able to follow that up with the E, stunning them out. But Zyra, here we go. The fight is continuing. Jarvan in the midst of this fight, trying to keep it alive. Trying to keep this fight going for the side. But damage carry taken down. Zed still in that backline, nice and easily, showing them why they are here to continue it. Veigar is going to be in a little bit of a sticky situation with this Zed, as I said. Make sure they're going to be able to get up one. Stunned onto the Lulu, not going to be able to get this up one, but auto attack. Veigar living on 1 HP. That is a dream to be able to live there for Veigar.
No way. That is so illegal that he got out of that alive.
That should not be allowed.
And also something to keep in mind that he did get the level up for the Rod of Ages as soon as that fight was over. So this Vigar is just going to get tankier and tankier.
Honestly, that Rod of Ages level up, that should not have been allowed. 1 HP in a dream for that Veigar there. Razor, showing that a skill expression isn't just on one champion, instead it's on 3. Yes, you can ban their champions, but you can't ban skill.
Yeah, no. Skill will also always stay. I don't know how I feel about this Gwen, or this Vigar answering the Gwen though.
Trying to make a play hip. Needlework is still there. Going to be used. Snip Snip does have 5 stacks, so is going to be able to go for a little bit of aggressive. Taunt is going to come out. Equally nice little bit of a Zhonya's. Not going to be able to get the pick onto Veigar due to the Zhonya's there, but showing them why if you overstep, you may get capitalized on.
I'm trying to think if Jinx just launches ult top lane, if that's a kill. I don't think it is. I don't think he's under that about 400, 500 health threshold at the current moment, so I think Jinx ult doesn't do much here. But we do see this Otacon still up, right? Just look at the vision prio for Miami Vice. Honestly, it looks roughly about the same in terms of like prio vision wise around this this Otacon. I honestly, me personally, I would have preferred a red ward potentially in that bottom try for Miami Vice, but the wards that they have set up I really like a lot.
Yep. Good ward setup from both teams, making sure that when this Archon play does come around, they are going to be able to go for a little bit more of a safety procedure when walking into their jungle. But not starting it yet. Look at the lane states. Relatively all the same, kind of neutral for both teams right now. Not really trying to go for anything in particular.
I don't know how I feel about this Zed being top when Otacon is up, right? Because if rivals spot this, right, they could look to exactly what I'm saying.
Yep, exactly what you're saying. This is the second time Noto is going to be caught away here. KDGate slightly showing struggle, but Jinx, as I said, getting excited onto these towers. Something that's key when playing this comp. Play around this Jinx. Make sure they're able to get that decimation onto these towers and watch them reap the damage.
This is perfectly understandable from the side of rivals. They caught that Gwen out, and now that's just a free Otacon. This is what I was stating earlier, as we're about to see this happen.
Gonna be contested. Zyra almost taken up with the Sejuani E, but sadly, Ara's to no avail. TP has come out. This is a numbers game for the side of rivals now. Moby White taken down by the Shen. This is a little bit more tricky for the side of Miami Vice here. Sejuani gonna have to back off, but is in the distance of Veigar. Maybe able to pick it up. Brazil gonna be able to pick it up onto one. That's looking like a free outcome to the side of Miami.
And once again, it's the same thing with this Vigar, right?
same thing as last game. this this Vigar with this extra burn damage on Otacon is just disgusting. Being 9-1 at this point, this is this is just crazy.
To consistent gameplay. I mean, Needlework is going to come out from those 2 hit, but it's, again, to no avail. Is keep on saying it around it. This is that one-man mission army. That mentality, it's just not going to work.
It doesn't. No, it never does, sadly. You take a team an inch and they get a mile, so...
Yeah, I mean, if you are the side of Rivals hit, you're kind of looking at it, you're having a little giggle to yourself, and you're just thinking, what is this guy doing?
Yeah, this is very unfortunate for the side of Miami Vice. The thing is right, if Miami Vice actually wanted to just front to back, as long as you're not standing in a straight line for this MF, as long as Jinx doesn't get touched, she could just output so much damage and outrange this MF and just kill her. So, I'd like to see...
Flash, and equally, Demacia from Jarvan, but equally gonna be the consistent one in this fight. Jinx still here to fight, hasn't been taken out yet. Sejuani is gonna miss, sadly. Rocket has been used. Jinx still alive and healthy in this fight. Is gonna be stunned. Husky able to get one up with the MF ult, but it's just looking like absolute compaction in this fight from both teams. Veigar gonna be able to get that nice little cage up, trapping Sejuani. No way to go, and that's most definitely gonna be a free tower, maybe even an inhib.
Yeah, it was very unfortunate from the Jinx. Very good on the Jarvan, though, to... Well, yeah, I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. Predict the Flash, right? I'll be nice.
I'm not too sure about the back off here. They could get an equal tower. I think Veigar is making the right decision. Razor is slowly pushing this up. They could get an extra pick there. That's one onto Moby White. Swam a little bit too deep into the enemy team, but each to their own. It's gonna be Infernal heading over towards the side of Rivals here. Potentially even a Baron fight, but it's highly looking like it's just gonna be a reset.
Yeah, that's the safer play here, right? Because I mean, yeah, Noto was down, as we do see.
Zhonya's is going to be used from Veigar, trying to live hit. Zed hot on his heels, trying to get this kill hit. If he gets it, it's going to be quite a large shutdown. Veigar trying to run away. That's so illegal that he's living there. Zed, just Renegade, you need to be able to close that distance.
Wow, yeah, this just goes to show how tanky this Veigar really is at this current point in the game. He is actually the raid boss. No joke, the raid boss.
I mean, some people say, is that a short joke? I mean, that's a voice line from Razor, but I mean, clearly it's going to be changing its title to, is that a tank joke?
We do see Rivals on this Baron now, which I like a lot, right? Because you are a member down on the side of Miami Vice.
Looking pretty comfortable. Needlework is being used here by Gwent, trying to go for this fight. It's going to be consistent here. Husky, just absolute deletion, as I said before. If you let him just get that ultimate off, it's going to be your wrong way around. Taunt has come out from Shen, making sure Sejuani is going to be stuck. Point and click for the side of Veigar, just trying to follow these up. I don't think Baron's going to be needed. They can just push this barrage and most likely end the game off it. Zed, going for a little bit of this movement here, seeing what he can do, seeing if he can get one, but Veigar, he's just way too tanky for this game.
Disgusting. This is honestly looking like this should be game. The thing is, right, is as Miami Vice, you don't necessarily want to force an objective, right, being as far behind as you can. I mean, yeah, you can look to take the 50-50, and this is looking like a game. Yep.
It is looking like the game. Rivals going to be able to take that win, writing their name from the side of Razor, writing his name in blood and gold, but to no avail for the side of Miami Vice. Sadly, losing the series 2-1.
Mm-hmm. We did see some strong points from Miami Vice, right? I mean, yeah, their drafts can be kind of questionable at times, right? In game one, we did give Rivals the edge, but you know they proved us wrong.
the thing is, right, coming in the next weeks that I would like to see from Miami Vice is, draft better one, right? Draft more cohesion of a comp. And then on top of that, make sure that you guys are on the same page in terms of being together, right? Not getting picked out. Now, as for rivals, right? It could be you could say the same thing, but rivals after game one has played just so much better league.
Yeah, I mean, each their own. I think there's most definitely mistakes here that each team can benefit from looking at. For instance, I think Shirelia's is a good item for Lulu, but I think most definitely when you are playing that lane, going for something like Mikhail's would be quite strong, especially as they've got stuff like Veigar Cage, they've got Torn, they've got Zara. I think rushing Mikhail's would have been a little bit nicer for the playability around Jinx, but as I said, that's for the coaches to go over, not for us casters to go over. But it's been a lovely series today. I've been your play-by-play, Evan.
And I've been your color caster, Lucky. Anyways, you guys make sure that y'all follow the Discord. Unsure where the next game would be. Thank you guys for coming out. We really appreciate y'all stopping by for this. Honestly, this first that I've ever seen from Merc Academy do our Merc League is replay games. So this was very interesting and very fun to do. So thank you guys so much. And with that, I mean, you have any closing remarks there, Evan?
Ooh, I think we've just said it ourselves, Lucky. 2 words. Can you guess what they are?
Draft better.
100%.
All right. Y'all have a blessed day. Take it easy. See ya.